Want the reward? Do the damn work. Challenge yourself. Inspire change. Choice, not luck. Hey, what's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the Ignite Euphoria podcast. I have two awesome people on today that I am excited, pleased, and honored to talk to. Sam and Dean, welcome to the show, or whatever we're supposed to call this. How you guys doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing awesome.
Who's nervous?
I was nervous. I'm not as nervous as what I was. I feel this is normal and awesome.
Yeah, it's just a conversation. We've had many of them.
Very proud
just
moment.
in a different room, right?
Yes.
Proud moment it is. So let's start off with some good stuff. You guys know who this band is, correct?
I do.
I do.
Who is this? Now, listen, because this is going to make or break this whole thing. Who's the singer of this band?
Steve Perry, isn't it?
Okay, there we go.
Come on now.
Old
I
school,
grew up in
right?
the 80s.
He saved me on that
Right,
one.
old
I didn't.
school, old school.
Well, unfortunately, we don't really hear too much Journey jamming in the kitchen.
Right, that's true. Okay, well, let's start with that. What do you do here at Racing for Recovery and why?
I am the executive chef here at Racing for Recovery. That was a big part of the turnaround of my life is I've got to enjoy doing a passion of mine and turn it into a job here. And it's my way of giving back to other people walking through this door to show them that nutrition is a big part of recovery. That's kind of how I got there. And
So I'm going to build on that, and then obviously Sam will work all this stuff in with you as well. So you do have a talent. I'm drinking it right now. You were using that talent in a different way. And if I recall correctly, you didn't want any part of that industry anymore because it was part of what got you here in the first place. So can you talk about how the process that your mind changed to that and now what it's done for your skill as an awesome chef? How has it enhanced that now with what you're doing?
Well, you're absolutely right that I did. I've got my degree from Le Cordon Bleu, Culinary Arts, and I thought that that was going to be my road to success. And I made it to the top and everything of it being an executive chef, sous chef. But the restaurant industry was always the turnaround of partying and it was always a toxic environment in the kitchen. And I was ready to hang it up and seek different avenues in life because every time I would try and be successful with this, I've always made the bad choice of hanging with the wrong people, making the wrong decision, and it just turned into a catastrophe every time. So when the opportunity came here with the nutrition class, we would sit around and have discussions, and believe it or not, true story, I watched the movie The Secret, and about, putting the vibes out there and, thinking it into play, I thought to myself, wouldn't it be cool to talk about plant-based diets and everything, but actually make some of the food and, show people how to get, involved and interested in it. I thought, and lo and behold, that same day I was thinking about that. The other Chef Luis that was here, he had a nice spread already put out, and then that's when it just kind of clicked to this is something that I want to do. And that kind of opened up the door to use my culinary skills to do what I enjoy doing, basically, but in the same token, in a safe, friendly environment that I'm giving back to others and sharing something with them to kind of open their eyes to this a little bit too. I hope that kind of explains it.
No, it's great. This is awesome, and there's no format to this. So Sam, as Dean's better half, as they say in society, right? How does it feel for you to see him really shine, not only like in sobriety, but with the specific skill that he has?
I almost want to cry because I'm so happy. Like, I'm so proud of the steps and just the growth. And I'm sorry. I'm just, it's amazing because I think about how he was when we first got in and to how he is now. And he is awesome and he's doing it. And he's not talking it, he's doing it. And it's just, I'm beyond proud.
How's it feel to hear that?
It's very heartwarming.
It's good stuff.
It's awesome.
Right. So let's. So Sam, how has what Dean's doing here? How has that inspired you to what you're successfully doing? Because I've known you for a while. I remember when you first came in, it was you wanted to go back and work or manage. You wanted to own your own gas station or manage it or something.
That
Talk
sounds
about
even embarrassing.
No, that's good.
It.
It's you had a goal then, but how has that changed?
It's changed tremendously, and even like where I'm working now, I don't want it to be a permanent thing. I want to actually do something, like something I enjoy doing, like that's not so hard on the body. It's because I've gotten carpal tunnel from where I'm working now, but I actually like. Seeing him do what he wants to do, it motivates me to not stop. And when I say that, like, it just motivates me, like, the sky is the limit. And as long as I push, it will happen. Like, not to give up, no matter what, just don't give up. Because I've seen him, like, through the mud, and here he is, now he's shining. And I'm very proud. And I know how proud I am of him, so I can only imagine how proud I'm going to be of myself when I get to that.
It's interesting you said that. Are you proud of yourself now?
I am very proud of myself as far as my sobriety goes, as far as who I am as a person. Absolutely. But I just feel like there's a void with my work. Like, I don't feel that click. If that makes sense. Like,
it does.
But other than that, everything is great. Like, as far as the kids, being a mom, I can actually be a mom. I was never a mom. I was mom, but I wasn't. And now I'm actually being there and actually going through it, the trials and tribulations, with all of it, and having a great man like him by my side, it makes it all more while.
So, Dean, I'm going to ask you, how does it feel to hear her speak like that?
I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
And, the same thing, I'm so proud of her in the same token, too. Because, you know what? We came into this together. And we were very broken when we came in here. Me, literally broken.
Yeah.
Broken neck, shattered arm. But you know what? We did it. And we're doing it. And it's going to, when I say we did it, it's a process for the rest of our lives, But to hear her talking like that it's awesome. We came in here without kids. Okay, we now have our kids. We came out in here without a home. We now have our own home. I mean, it's just so many things that we've done together by just sticking true to what we want to do. Because, that was a big thing. And, I hope I'm not, like, bouncing around too bad. But for us coming in here as a couple, it was huge because we were both codependent on each other. No doubt about it. But when we came in here, we were separated. Been together 5 years and now, poof, we're separated. And I think, personally, that was one of the biggest pros to our success now. Because you know what? I could sit at night knowing that she was safe. I didn't have to worry about her, but she was taking care of her and finding herself. Because no matter what, in sobriety and all this, the codependency does you no good. She's got to find her path of happiness. I had to find mine. And, even like with the success in the kitchen now, a big part of that goes to a thanks to her. Because while I was in the kitchen every day, volunteering, she was working a job and maintaining some income coming in so we could survive and keep saving up money and keep going. And that was a huge part to why I am where I am today. And no doubt about it. Because if I would have had to been like, well, I got to go out and get a job and everything, I don't know where that would have led. But she created the opportunity for me to step my game up and do something that I enjoy doing.
I have so many things going through my head to talk about with you guys. I don't know if you remember this, but you were referring to the separation of you guys, and that's one of the things I love about Racing for Recovery is we welcome anybody in here, regardless of the situation. If you're married, come on in. If you're struggling to keep it together, come on in. I don't understand you separating people. Now, with respect to treatment and stuff, yes, definitely a separation. But you remember trying to get into the IOP that Sam was in with me?
Oh, yeah.
You were working me over in the hallway
Yep.
and this and that, and I'm like, this guy, But now you're starting to understand why we do what we do around here, and here's another example of it being a successful thing. I do want to do this because it's a part of it, but not all the details of it. You guys have a year of sobriety today, right?
Complete year of sobriety today.
Awesome. And it's kind of weird that we just booked this on this day and didn't even
know it.
Didn't even know that. So with respect to that, I do want to talk about how you guys got here. And I will say this, Dean, and you don't have to share this, but that story that you shared with me in the kitchen about that driving one day with that whole thing, that moved me big time. So why don't you guys talk about what it was like and what made you finally contact us, and then we'll get back into the good stuff. But tell people that are watching this what it was like for you guys.
Well, do you want me to start?
Go ahead.
So, how we got here, we would need a couple hours for me to tell you the whole spiel of my path to it. But it all started in Youngstown, Ohio. Her and I were staying out there with my father, and she was pregnant. We had the baby, and basically what it boils down to is CSB got involved, and we lost our kid. And we went off the deep end and ripping and running the streets. Well, God evidently knew that we needed some guidance or we were going to die. And we got into a severe car accident. And I broke my neck. She had internal bleeding. We were a hot mess. And we wound back up here in good old Swantucky. And basically, I thought to myself that I literally thought that I had died in the car accident, and I was living in a living hell. And we were living in the living room of one of my buddies who, he's an awesome guy, but he suffers from mental illness, schizophrenia, all that stuff, but it was like living in a living hell because I couldn't do nothing. Just felt like I was stuck in this chair, and had her. So basically it boiled down to we got all drunk one night, and she broke out this guy's window because I locked her out of the house.
Best decision I ever made. Sorry.
And that decision right there that she made, basically he threw her out. I didn't have to go, but I remember this guy's basement was like a dungeon. And we sat down there and we had a serious talk. And we come to the conclusion that we can't do this on our own. We need to find some help. So she agreed, because it was either one of these things, honestly, that we were going to go our separate ways or we were going to do this and get our lives together. Yep. And so the path started at UTMC. We knew nothing of Racing for Recovery. And we got to doing research in there. Her grandmother, took us there. And that's when we made the phone call here. And we even asked, one of the big things was, do you accept couples? Because we weren't going to go to separate places. We wanted to find somewhere that would take us. And then when we called, we got the absolutely answer, get over here. So that's when, we walked through the doors. I was in a neck brace and a cast and literally had a broken neck, shattered soul. and we could go on for the long-term run of how we got here, but that's the initial. That's what made the choice, how we ended up here.
Yep.
And we started, and when I say we, I don't want to speak for her because I know that she's got a lot to add to this too, but that's when we decided that it's time. But we were still in that mentality way of thinking at first, but I know that 43 years old, well, I was 42, just turned 43, and, it was time to do something different. And I knew it was going to take hard work, and I got kind of scared at first because I know that, exercise and all that is a big part of what we do here. And having these injuries and stuff, I wasn't able to partake in a lot of them activities. So, it was a big deal. Do you want to add anything to how we got here?
Well, I got a question for you, Samuel. Help. You talk about throwing that brick through the window.
No, I threw my fist through the window. Yeah, I got a cut right here from it.
I thought it was a brick. Okay, even better.
Dean had locked me out of the house, and I got mad, and I went to the window, and I went to knock on the window. At least I thought I went to knock, but I was intoxicated, so obviously it was a lot harder than a knock, and my fist went straight through it. And when the guy had come home that we were staying with, he told me to get out. And I basically, at that point in time, I was like, okay, no big deal, because I knew I was going to go to the dope house. Like, that was my excuse to run, so I just got my excuse. And then, like, I didn't. I didn't go. And Dean was like, we need to talk. We need to figure this out. And seeing the hurt in his eyes and actually realizing that I was not happy where I was in life, I figured I'm as low as I can go. There's only one option, and that's to go up. Nothing wrong could come from trying to get sober. So coming here was like the best decision, and I say, like, being separated from him was amazing. And I think that's where I got a lot of my growth, because I found out who I was and what I liked to do, not worrying about, okay, is he going to like to do this? Like, he was on the back of my mind. I knew he was safe. I knew he was good. I knew he was doing what he needed to be doing. So I just solely focused on myself. I've never done that throughout my whole entire life. I always used substances. If it wasn't smoking pot, it was drinking, or, you know what I mean? Like, since I was 12 years old. Like, that was when it all started for me. So I never actually gave myself time to think about what I like. It was always what I thought others wanted or what others liked. And coming in here, I've actually got to get to know myself. I know that I'm a strong woman. I know that I am worthy. Like, when I first came in here, I could not say those things. Like, I love the person that I am today. I love that I can go to bed and wake up in the morning and not have to remember a lie that I told. I can just speak. I don't have to worry about anything slipping. Like, I don't have nothing to hide. You get what you see. And that's one thing, like, is huge. Because I always used to lie. It was a lie to cover up another lie. And honestly, this place given me the opportunity to find myself to where I made amends with my mother before my mother had died. That's something huge, because that's where I got a lot of my closure. Like, that's where, like, I got a lot of my acceptance. Like, it hurts like hell, yes, but I'm very happy that I got to be on good terms with my mom, and my mom told me she was proud of me. And it's just a lot of things to be grateful for.
This is what I want to talk about, because this is important, because this is what separates Racing for Recovery from, quite honestly, anybody else. So a couple things in that, and I want to point this out. Having you go through that extremely difficult time with losing your mom, I want I want to make it clear to people that are watching, you did not use.
No, I did not.
And this is, again, this is what makes us different. Normally, and I did this in the Staying Alive group yesterday, when people like us are hurting, it's almost like this knee-jerk automatic reaction. I got to smoke crack. My mom died. Of course I got to shoot heroin. Are you kidding me? What else is there to do? That's like a normal thing for people that are using drugs. Not here.
Nope.
Here it's, oh my God, this is awful, or whatever that stuff is. I'm sober. I'm going to stay that way, and I'm going to find any other option to help me do that. And that is one of the things, even when this happened, I'm like, oh my God, obviously from an empathetic standpoint. But then I sit back and I'm like, I want to see what she's got. And you did it. And I am so like happy for you, but proud of you because I get to watch that perseverance and commitment and passion and dedication, and I'm like, that's what this place is about.
When I came in here, I was serious. I wasn't contemplating, do I really want to change? Am I really, you know what I mean? Like, I knew I was done, and I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And all of the energy that I put into messing up my life, I've put into fixing my life. And when my mom had died, the first thing that came to my mind is, them kids are coming home with me. It wasn't, oh, I need to go get high, or I need to, you know what I mean? Like, I did not even think about that, because I know that juice is not worth that squeeze for me. And that's the best, like, metaphor that I have is, like, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. And I actually play my tape through before I make any decision. If I feel uncomfortable with any decision in life, now I think about it. And if I feel uncomfortable with it, I'm not going to do it.
Awesome.
And if I have to second guess it, that means it's not a good decision for me. So
this is great. So I want to ask, this is both directed at both of you guys now. And again, this is the part of these podcasts I love talking about. So you guys both had mentioned, you're living in Akron, it was, right? Where was your dad's? Youngstown. Yep. Same thing, right? Close enough.
45-minute difference.
Eastern Ohio, right? Whatever. So you're over there, and I can't imagine this. As a father, I can't imagine having somebody take my son or my daughter, whatever. As a mom, that's really got to sting, We
had to drop him off to Children's Services.
Okay. So let me ask this question, because a lot of people could watch this and go, oh my God, they're terrible people that did that. And it's like, well, you don't understand the story. And I love at Racing for Recovery explaining how someone got there, not judging for where they are. So here's a question for both of you. And you don't have to talk about this, or you can, or we can get into it later. But do you feel, had you not endured trauma of whatever you went through prior to even having kids, that maybe you wouldn't even have been in that situation in the first place? Or if you would have gotten some help for that trauma, again, maybe you wouldn't have taken the addiction so far. Is that an adequate question to ask?
I feel like, honestly, I don't know. Because there's two sides to that. Like, my dad, he was an alcoholic and he was a drug addict. So I grew up around that. That was the normal to me. So growing up around it, I see Dad stressed out. What's he going to go do? He's putting the crack pipe to his mouth, or he's putting the beer to his mouth. Like, so that was normal to me. And the trauma aspect, I realized I have a lot of trauma. And me not going through treatment for the trauma, that played a big role, yes. But I still think that I would be in the same situation.
Okay.
And I don't regret the situation because it made me who I am today.
True story. Dean, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, kind of iterate the question.
So, and I love how Sam answered it, because as soon as I asked that, it's like, well, I could say the same thing. The stuff I went through, you look at it and you're like, well, I don't want to become that. And then we do. I don't even know if I would have gotten help if I would have accepted it or not. So there is two sides of that, right? So basically what I'm saying, Dean, had you not had some circumstances that put you in your dad's basement, do you think things would have been different and you wouldn't have lost or wouldn't have had to drop your kid off at CSB?
No, I think that it would have been just a matter of time. You know, kind of like Sam was saying, the whole childhood thing. I mean, I've had trauma my whole life. You know, we won't get into all of it, but you know, I thought that was just like she said. That was the way of life. That's how we cope. Okay, that's how my mom still today copes. I mean, sorry, Mom. You know, you have a bad day, you drink. You know, at Christmas time, you're happy, you drink. And you know, for me, I always thought my way could get me there. And when I say that, to where, you know, I've done a lot of really cool, successful things in life. You know, it hasn't just been a life of misery. I mean, I've lived in California for 8 years. I've done some pretty gnarly stuff. Yeah. And
some motorcycle riding, right?
Absolutely. Some freestyle motocross, metal militia. You know, it's met a lot of really cool superstars and all that, and was a big part of it. You know, my problem is I always thought my way would work. And, you know, I would screw it all up, go on a drug bender or something, and, you know, I think, oh, man, I just won't pick up cocaine and everything will be fine, you know. And I remember his name was Lou, but he was at Compass way back in the day. And I was like 18 or 19 years old, and that was my first little run-in with, I had to do the CAD program through Maumee Court because I screwed something up. And but you know, I always told him, I said, well, if I don't pick up cocaine, you know, I'm still going to drink a Jack and Coke and stuff. And I remember like yesterday, that old gentleman looked at me and said, you don't know shit. You know, and you just keep on coming back, because if you think you can do it. And I tried, and the results were always same old, you know. But I really do believe that it would have happened at some point.
It's and the way you guys are answering that, I can see that, because in essence, it did. I mean, that happened to you guys, and you kept her going, you know. And that's part of what I'm talking about is some of these things. If people can get at least a seed that's planted that said, "Hey, have you ever gotten help from some of the things you've been through?" People, when I ask that question, people are like, they don't even know it's a problem because they're used to the normality of it. So it can be an opportunity, or it can be a motivational thing after it's all done to look back and go, wow, I didn't realize how I was normalizing all that stuff. Now I see there is a clear path to getting me to wherever I want. So it can work either way. I guess the blessing is you got here, right?
Absolutely.
So let's talk about this. I'm interested in like what our IOP classes did, how they were helpful for both of you, and what you've utilized with that information. And Sam, I had you for a long time in there.
Yes, I loved your IOP. What I got out of IOP was I got out, like I would bring in my notebook, and I remember sitting and I remember taking notes. I would listen, like actually listen. And I would go home or back to the hotel, and I would read those notes. And it's like almost like I would study them, because I would see people that were here for a longer period of time and they looked happy and I wasn't happy. So I was too scared to go up to them to ask them how they got to where they were. So that's how I used you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like I used like what they had said in group, and that really helped me. And then I got to the confidence part, to where I would ask them how they got to where they were. And that right there was like the light bulb for me, because I never gave myself that opportunity. Like I always said, my life is shit. That's the card I was dealt. And I am coming in here too, like I used the whole, it's hereditary thing as a crutch for a long, long time. Oh, my dad, he's a drug addict. You know, he's this, he's that. It's hereditary. That's the cards I was dealt. coming in here and like in the IOP and hearing you say that one day that it's a choice, either you use or you don't. Simple as that. Like at first I'm thinking this guy, you know. I really was. And then like going through and actually like paying attention and listening to everything, that really like he's freaking right. It's just a choice. And that was empowering to itself. Like that gave me power because I felt powerless. Like my whole entire life I felt powerless over it. Oh, it's gonna happen. You know, everything goes good, it's gonna all fall. No, everything's been going good and the momentum's keeping going. And I've just kept that momentum going. And I don't know, like your IOPs were really awesome. And I remember the first IOP that I had and you remembered my name. And that was like huge. That I will never forget that because I think I even told you, you know, you remembered my name, you know, and you're like, well, why wouldn't I, you know, and that like made me feel important because I never felt important. Oh. And that was like a huge thing. And like you guys believing in me before I believed in me was huge.
I remember you always sat to my left. And I remember when watching your transformation start to take place, you know, the coloring, and I'm sure I made comments of you taking notes and stuff in there because that's the stuff I look for. But I loved calling you Sammy, remember? And then I don't know how it happened, but one day I think you said it to somebody else that you really didn't like being called that. And in my mind, I'm like, then why were you allowing me to do that? And it's a confidence thing. And that's where it started to shift, you know, and I was so happy that you're like, I really don't like that. And then you said, but you can keep calling me that. And I haven't.
Nope.
You know, because I heard you and I'm like, that's what I want for people is to stand up and say, hey, you know, I really don't go by that name. Okay.
Yeah, my grandma's the only one that's allowed to call me that just because she's called me it ever since I was real little, so I can't really tell her, hey, you can't say it. But yeah, no.
Yeah. And I was doing it because just like I did with Journey, I was referring it to like a Sammy Hagar
I
thing.
know, I remember you calling me Sammy Hagar the one day. You're like, Sammy Hagar.
Dean, what about you? Because you had, I think Emily was running a lot of your IOPs,
Emily,
right?
Yep.
So what was it in her groups that was really clicking for you in there?
Well, so I'm going to kind of start from my way of thinking from the beginning.
Yep.
And obviously, I've been through a lot of different, I think they were IOPs, okay, but I've been through the VOA, CTF, I mean, the whole 9 yards. And, you know, when I first got here, my old way of thinking was, oh, hell, here we go again. Sit through another, you know, thinking for a change and everything. And when I really got in there, Emily, she always smiled. And she, you know, I remember her from day one that, you know, I tried not talking and that she wasn't having that. But the IOPs for me, really, I know right from wrong, okay? And I've already heard that, oh, well, you can't do this. But the way that she put it down to where, you know, do things this way, you know, think like this. And that was a big changer for me. I wasn't a big talker in the groups because I'm a firm believer, and I still believe into it today, that I let my actions speak for me. I let, you know, I don't want to sit there and say, oh, I'm doing this. No, I let people watch me and kind of like, you know, I'm a leader. I love leading things to where, you know what, you want to do it, just follow me, you know. But the IOPs, I was able to get out of my shell a little bit, and I was treated more as an individual than just a statistical number to where, you know, you got to do it this way, you got to do it this way, and that wasn't the case. And that was huge. And now I'm going to rewind a little bit. In the beginning of this, you know, you said I was out chasing you down in the hallways and stuff, all right?
Right.
And sorry, honey, but I seen what your IOP was doing for her.
Right.
I was reading her notes, and I'm like, wow, you know. Not that Emily's was any, you know, It was just a bigger group that I was in, but I seen that I was like, I want that, and that's why I was chasing you down. It wasn't because saying, you know, hey, we could have switched.
That's good.
But you know, I wanted to really hear what you had to say. You know, I really, I mean, all the staff members here, man, everybody's got great knowledge and input and everything, and just like our case manager, Miss Chelsea Carson, Miss Carson,
I love her.
I owe so much to that woman, flat hands down, because you know what? I've always tried to cut corners my whole life with everything I've done.
There was no cutting corners with her.
There was no cutting corners, but it wasn't, you know, people say, oh, it wasn't in a mean way.
No.
It was in a no. You know,
it was out of love.
That's just it. It was out of the love of, no, you can do it this way. You know, you're not going to do it. You can do it this way. And, you know, that part of it with the case manager like that was hands down life-changing, you know. So, yeah, I definitely wanted to speak about that because that was very... Even with the broken neck and everything, I tried to use excuses. Oh, I can't do that. Well, you can do this. You know, I mean, she held me accountable, and it really taught me something more about myself of what she did. You know, it's
You guys have mentioned, you know, Emily and Chelsea, and again, for people that are watching this, they could be thinking, well, who are those people? Well, Emily, who is our now clinical director and doing a absolutely fabulous job. She has taken this program of ours and gotten it to where I hoped it would be. I knew it would be. I had no idea how it would be. And she just took that position, thankfully, and has made it happen. And she came in to Racing for Recovery back when we just had a Thursday night support group meeting and has become who she's become. She has a fantastic way of taking whatever it is that I started and putting this. She's so intelligent with what she can put these clinical terms or whatever, and she runs those groups, in my opinion, in a more effective way than I do on an educational level. And she's taking, I guess, my passion and experiences and make it sound smart. That's her job. You know, I do what my role is, but then she really put some educational punch to it. And Chelsea's another success story of coming here as I don't like calling people clients, another person getting some help. You know, came in, didn't have insurance or whatever, and just paid for it. And she works here and is doing obviously a great job with you guys as well. So keeping that going, I'm always interested in, like, because you mentioned that, and most people have, they've been other places numerous times, to come in and start hearing different concepts. What's that like? I mean, Dean, you said, well, I want to do it my way. But when you guys hear and see, as Sam said, success of doing it differently, can you talk about the process of changing, how your mindset changed, that you were receptive to that?
Yeah, I'm going to be dead honest with you, to where I always, you know, nothing against all the other programs, groups, anything. Hey, they've saved many lives. Kudos to them. That's awesome. Keep going. But I've always believed in my head, Todd, that using drugs was a choice. Flat out. And every time I said something about that, people, oh, no, no, no. And when I came upon Racing for Recovery and I found out it was about a choice, it's not hereditary, it's not a disease and all that. You know, for me, I never ever wanted to say, well, I'm powerless to anything. Flat out. And, you know, when I would say that in groups and all that, not here, but in other places, they would look at me like I'm crazy. And when I came upon this, I said, wow, I knew it. You know, it was like the light came on, man. And it's when I really ran with it, you know, and the whole power of choice is tremendously huge, because it is. Everything in life is a choice. Yep. You know, you either go that way or you go that way. There's never problems, only solutions.
That's
man.
Right. That's right.
And it was huge, because one thing about here is, for me personally, is like, even when the tragic thing happened with her mother and stuff, I mean, that in itself was trauma like beyond belief. You know, I've never experienced something like that in my life. But you know what? When you get over that mountain of, oh, I can't use because I'll lose my housing, or I can't lose because I might lose my job or something, When you get over that hump to, I don't want to use, I don't want to get high, I don't want to make a choice. Like, I've got different choices now.
Absolutely.
Like, that is so huge in recovery. It's beyond belief. You know, when you get over that hump to, the sky's the limit. You know, to walk in here every morning as a staff member or work in this kitchen is the biggest honor to myself, and to show other people coming through these doors that it's true, man. You know, all you got to do is apply yourself and don't do drugs, man.
Yep.
Because I'll tell you what, if you think life's not going to punch you in the face and kick you in the gut when you're down, you're crazy.
Right.
It's going to happen, but you know what? You just don't use, no matter what. And that has showed me so much. I mean, I hope I'm not getting too sideways on the whole topic. Like, it's just, that is a big part of my recovery. You know, it's something that I've never been able to do in my life. And, you know, I did it for myself. You know, I even said this to somebody last night, to where, you know what, I don't do drugs and all this. I don't do it because, I'm doing it for my kid. No, I do it for myself. I just get to enjoy my kids now because I make them choices, you know. I get to enjoy, you know, I even shared, when her and I walked in here, we had each a hospital bag full of clothes. You know, when we finally moved out of Racing for Recovery, we had to rent a 20-foot U-Haul, packed it up, and then even went to a furniture store and got whatever we needed because we did it right. You know, to me, that's success. That's walking out of here with your head high. And for people coming through these doors to see if I've waited my whole life, man, to say, if I can do it, you can definitely do it.
Yep.
Because I know that my life was just so full of crap sometimes, to where, you know, for me to sit here, even honored talking with you in this podcast, man, it's unbelievable.
Wow.
You know?
I love it. So, Sam, Dean mentioned the power of choice, being empowering. What is it in here that was a new concept for you that you really grabbed onto?
I've never been to any other treatment place before, so I was fortunate enough for this to be my first and my last. And I can say that because I'm confident and I know that I'm not going to use. But I think where I lacked was I never really felt like I had the support of loved ones. Like, I feel like that my mom was always working all the time, and my dad, he was, you know, taking us down to see drug dealers, and like me and my brother and my sister all seen things growing up that we shouldn't have. We've, you know, been around that whole scene. And I just think like the lack of care. And I thought my mom, like, I hated my mom for so long. For what? My mom was doing what she needed to do. You know, she was putting food on the table. Like, she just wasn't around. So I didn't feel like I had that support. So coming in here, I didn't feel alone anymore. And that's the big thing. Like, when, like, Dan and I, before we got, like, sober and before we even thought about coming here, him and I were all we had. And that was pretty much, like, where it is. Like, we were all we had. And that's why I think we were so codependent on each other, too, because we knew. Like, I knew he wasn't going anywhere, and he knew I wasn't going anywhere. And I remember telling him, even in the act of us messing up, like, I love you, and I love you so much that I want to do things right. I want to live a happy-go-lucky life with you. I don't want us to continue doing this all of our lives. And I hope that I showed him that, because I know that I showed myself that. Like, I didn't love him because we were getting high. I loved him because I saw the good person he was inside. And I saw the loving, caring heart that he had. And I don't know. Like, I just knew. Like, when I came here, I had the support, the love, and it gave me confidence to get my shit together and keep moving, and being told by Chelsea, you can do this, Sam, you know, you got this. Like, even when I didn't think I did, like, that motivated me. him going outside with a broken neck walking around, that motivated me.
Yep.
Like, because he was staying consistent with it. Like, he was going out every morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, and he would walk all around here. And it was just, yeah.
I love this. I love doing these when they're awesome, when people are doing well. So I want to talk about your involvement in the kitchen, Dean, because I've said this a million times in here. People say, I want to work here someday, and I'll create your own job. I say it a lot. So I'm looking at this shake. What do you have in this one, by the way?
That's the peanut butter, banana, spinach, flaxseed, chia seed, and oatmeal.
All the good stuff.
And almond milk. You can't forget the almond milk.
That's key. Not coagulated cow pus, but
Yes.
almond milk, and I guess it's no secret now. I'm a vegan dude. I have been for a number of years. One of the best decisions I've ever made. So I want to tell you how much I appreciate what you have for me anytime I want. When I can have the pleasure, and again, this all comes from one choice: to stop using drugs. I can text you on my way in and, hey, Dean, can I please have a shake? And I pull in and boom, you have it. That I'm thankful for this, and at the same time, I'm proud of the fact that you're doing it. And I'd like to know what it's like for you to be in there making your awesome creations for people who are coming in here for help. How does that feel?
Well, I tell you, I'm gonna rewind, because I remember like yesterday the one time I did the nutrition class and you came in and you said, you did all this? And I said, yeah. And you go, would you ever want a career here? and ever since that day, I thought to myself, hell yeah, let's run it. Now, what this cooking has done for me, I've been a chef for quite a while. And the whole world of vegan cooking, plant-based cooking, total rookie to it. Okay, but I knew that I know how to manipulate some food and make it taste good. So why not take them skills and let's try and like recreate some dishes that are healthier, hands down. What I do in that kitchen, I never flat out, even though sometimes I'm going crazy in there because I'm not a perfectionist, but I don't play when it comes to the food. I want quality, and so people that come through here can really enjoy it. But I don't look at this as a job at all. Like, and that's, I've never been able to say that. Like, I don't dread getting up, like, oh man, I look forward to it, man. Especially when I come in, and that's a big seller for me here is when I saw the rock and roll posters and everything. Hands down, so oh yeah, I'm gonna like this.
Right.
But to put on some music and I just get into my zone and start putting together all this healthy food for when I open up that door and everybody comes in for breakfast and everything. They're like, wow, it's all fresh, hand cut, you name it. That has woken up a passion in me that I didn't even know I had. It's like I care. That's why I do what I do. And to see how people have really, some people that have really taken this plant-based diet serious, I see that they're listening to me and the results are just phenomenal with it. Like, there's a couple people that's transitioned to what they don't look nowhere what they looked like when they came in here. We've had doctors take people off medication, and I look at it that as this is kind of my way of giving back. How you created this to give back, I'm a little part of this where this is what we do here, it's an awesome feeling to know that my job I don't look like is a job. I look at it, I come in, I look forward to your text, hey, I'm on my way, all right, what can I whip him up today, and so far, I haven't put nothing bad in the cup.
No, I'll say it this way. I do some physical things, and I'm a 100% believer that changing my nutrition has enhanced my ability to do some of the stuff that I'm fortunate enough to do. And, I have a couple goals this year with some of the physical things I do, and one being is there's going to be a big event in a pretty cool place in this country, or outside of the mainland, so to speak. And when you started doing this, I'm so appreciative of what you've been doing. I've said it. I'm like, well, you need to come out to, well, I can say it. I'm sure I'll get some flack for it, but whatever. I mean, doing my 100th Ironman out at Ironman Hawaii, which, again, I don't even think people know it's that event that I saw back in my addiction that has turned this whole thing into something. So to go back to that place to achieve my own personal goal, and it's true. You are helping me and have helped me and will continue to help me achieve what I'm doing here. And, you guys are going to come out to that. What's that like for you to even, I can't imagine like what it's like for you to be like, holy cow, you are contributing to the success of Racing for Recovery. I mean, even for both of you, Sam, as a supporter of Dean, what's that like for you guys to be on that side, our side of the street now?
Words can't describe it. I think I said it a little bit ago. This is the biggest honor, like, that I think that I've ever held. That, like, I hold a standard now, and to be on this side of the fence is made me realize too that when I see new people coming through the door, I don't forget how I felt when I came through this door.
Yep.
And if I can make it their day any better by putting some good, healthy food, I know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And I know that, like I said, I'm giving back.
Yep.
And to be on this side of the fence and have the opportunities to go experience something like that, I mean, words can't even describe it. It's amazing. And then, but sometimes, honestly, I sit back and I look that, you know what, I'm carving my own path. And you know what, I'm not taking advantage of anything. Just when opportunities come through, I'm following through because, honestly, Todd, that's one thing that I can honestly say in my life. I mean, I've done a lot of cool, even jobs and stuff. But one thing I've never done in my life is follow through with anything. And now I find myself following through with everything. I say I'm going to do it. I actually, when I came in here, a driver's license was the last. I would laugh at somebody if they say, what's it take to get your driver's license, And I'm, proud to say that I officially get to go get my driver's license this Friday.
Beautiful.
And, and that's following through. I had the money saved up, and the old me wouldn't, oh, no, I could just, pay payments down the road. I followed through, and I paid them off.
Yep.
And the judges love me, and they're, like, so proud of what I've done and the choice I made that, I actually get a good opportunity this coming up month here. We're going to have a lot of judges and prosecutors and everybody coming through to see what we do. Yep. And they're looking forward because I even told the one judge, not only am I telling you, I'm going to get to show you what I'm doing and what this place can do for someone's life. Just carve your own path, man. I mean, that's the way I feel with it. I mean,
Sam, I want to ask you this. What would you say to a mom right now who might hopefully is watching this and who's having a hard time? What would you say to her?
Don't give up. Reach out for help, because if you truly want to help yourself, you can do it.
Beautiful. I've asked you everything I wanted to ask. Is there anything you want to ask me before we wrap up? You guys have done a phenomenal job. Congrats on a year. See, it wasn't so bad, right? I can't wait to get this one up this week. But is there any questions you have for me that you think someone would benefit from watching this?
Some questions for you. I always got questions for you. What you want to eat? No.
I haven't.
But, I don't have a question for you, but I do want to say this to anybody watching this video, that, she's 100% right to where you can do it, but you got to want to do it, man. Yep. Nobody's going to do this for me. Racing for Recovery didn't do this for us. They gave us an opportunity for us to do this for ourselves.
Yep.
Hands down, the support's phenomenal. I don't think you'll ever see another place like it. I love this place. This place has, and this is kind of a thank you to you personally, because this place has done something and gave me an opportunity that I've never been able to do in my life, and I've tried many times. And I thank you for creating this whole thing and the opportunities to be a part of this. Like you said, when couple first IOPs or whatever, you never have to leave. And it's so true because I never left. My position changed to, to where I can be a part of this for a very long time now. And I thank you, man, really.
You're welcome. I'm proud of both of you guys. I think we're done. That was awesome. I have a ton of pride watching you guys shine. It's great. That's why I created this, just to do when I'm proud to be able to let the world watch, So thank you both for just utilizing this, right?
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Until next time, everybody, check out the Racing for Recovery live stream every Thursday night at 6:30 on our YouTube page and our Facebook page. And as always, with sobriety, anything is possible. We'll see you again soon.